Hello everyone and welcome to this video where we are going to talk about a book that I read recently, and it's called If Only I Had Told Her, written by Laura Nowlin. And this book is basically a continuation or a follow-up of her very famous novel If He Had Been With Me. So talking about the first book itself, If He Had Been With Me, it's a love story between a guy named Finn and a girl named Autumn. And the book, If He Had Been With Me, has been written from Autumn's point of view, how she felt about their love story, how the events happened. But if I talk about this book is about Finn's narrative, his point of view of what actually happened. But it doesn't end there. There are two more narratives. One is of Jack, who is Finn's best friend, and second is of Autumn. So basically, there are three different narratives in this book, If Only I Had Told Her. So, talking about Finn's narrative, even if there are three different narratives, they are in continuation. They do not overlap with each other. Although the first book, If He Had Been With Me, and Finn's narrative, there might be some overlap because they are talking about the same set of events. I will talk about that. Obviously, we are going to expect certain spoilers, and if someone is actually interested in reading this book and if you don't want spoilers, please do not watch after this. But if you're okay with spoilers, or if you want to actually understand the essence of this book, I would recommend you to go through this video till then. So talking about these three different narratives, the first narrative obviously is of Finn's, and obviously he talks about how he has been in love with Autumn since the first time he knew her itself, right? So talking about the backdrop, let me tell you about Finn and Autumn and how they're connected. So Finn and Autumn's mother, both of them are single mothers, and they are neighbors and they are friends, and they have also known each other since Finn and Autumn were very small, and they have always wanted Finn and Autumn to be together, to get married, and that sort of chemistry they expected them to have. But somewhere down the line, Finn was very protective of Autumn, and hence he was never able to articulate his feelings for Autumn. Autumn, on the other hand, also took Finn for granted, you can say, or maybe she just thought that Finn was there and he is going to be there for the rest of her life. And even she was not able to understand that Finn was actually deeply in love with her. And eventually, Autumn has a boyfriend. She gets a boyfriend, and his name is Jamie. Autumn and Jamie are together, and because of that, Finn feels that he is missing out something. So he also makes a girlfriend named Sylvie. So where the narration starts, Sylvie and Finn are in relationship. Sylvie is out doing a Europe trip. We have Autumn, who has just broken up with Jamie, and now she's in a very vulnerable position, and Finn feels that he can get back with Autumn, and maybe this time he can articulate his feelings, because Jack keeps on poking him that it's time. Even his mother tells him that you should talk to her, you should let her know about your feelings, and he is looking for a moment where he can actually talk about it. He actually wants to be very sure that Autumn is able to receive his love. So he looks for different events where he can talk, or he tries to do gestures for which he expects some very positive intent from Autumn, but he is not getting that. But eventually, Autumn gives him her very first novel, the draft of her novel which she is writing, and he feels that the protagonist in that novel, the guy that she has written about, is very similar to him, and the feelings that she has written is actually his feelings. So now he knows that Autumn is aware of his feelings, and he confronts her. He tells her that he has been in love with her since ages, and eventually Autumn also agrees that she has also been in love, but she was never able to understand whether Finn was ready for it or whether Finn wanted her love. And that is a very happy moment. And since the story is written in first person, it's written in present tense, and you can feel yourself being there in that moment, feeling that happiness that Finn is feeling, that Autumn is feeling. But now there is a situation because Finn is still legally Sylvie's boyfriend. So he wants, or he's feeling guilty that Sylvie should know that Finn and Autumn are together now, and going forward, he won't be there as a boyfriend for Sylvie. And eventually, when he goes to describe this or discuss it with Sylvie, he meets with an accident and eventually he dies. So that is where Finn's narrative ends. Obviously, it's a tragic ending, but in the first book, it has already been narrated. So if someone has already read that book, they would know about this. Now, where Finn's narrative ends, that is exactly where Jack's narrative starts. And now he's talking about his feelings, how he's feeling is about this death of his very best friend with whom he has done so many things. He planned out so many things. He was planning to go to college with Finn, and he had seen a future with Finn. And now everything came crashing down. He's not able to process this thought that Finn won't be there for the rest of his life, and how he's dealing with it, how he's trying to come out of it, what is his motivation to keep going. That is what Jack's narration is about. And where Jack's narration ends, we get to know that Autumn is pregnant, and she also tried to commit suicide because this grieving, this sadness, this misery is too much for her. But eventually, when she realizes that she's pregnant and now she has a motivation, everyone around her tells her that it will be okay, she will be fine. And since she has been brought up by a single mother, she has that understanding that it's not very difficult. But what are the thoughts that are going on in her mind, how she is dealing with them, is something which has been very immaculately written. And I would recommend someone who is dealing with grief to read this book, because when you are reading this book, your own feelings attach to the character's feeling, and you can actually see the character dealing with it, and you can feel sympathy or empathy, and you can also, it gives you a motivation that if the characters can deal with it, you can deal with it too. So I think somewhere down the line, that is the essence of this book. The main theme that goes in the background, that life happens and it can happen at any moment of time. We all need to deal with it. There are situations in everyone's life, and there are different characters which you get to see. I won't go in their depth, but there are variety of stories that you hear in the background, and everything resonates with one specific thought that life goes on. So anyone who is dealing with grief, and if they're looking for motivation in life, I think this is a book that you should definitely read. It's not just about reading a love story, because this has not been written in a traditional way. It's not about storytelling. It's about feeling. It's about understanding that situation. It's about understanding how the characters feel, or how people in real life feel, and what are the situations they're going through. So great thumbs up. So a must read suggestion from me. And if you want me to read the first part, do let me know. Thank you.